Welcome to the NBA Triple Double Show, powered by SportsMemo. I'm your host, Ronald Cabang, also known as UCapper on Twitter, and you can catch me over now at wagertalk.com. Just got joined over there in the past couple of days, so you can find me at wagertalk.com instead of sportsmemo.com. But my guy, Moneyline Matt, he will be with me today to talk about the lone NBA playoff game today. He's over at sportsmemo.com. We also will sneak peek at tomorrow's game as well. Before we get into those games, though, I do want to talk about what we got going on over at sportsmemo.com and wagertalk.com. We got the free live odds pages on both sites, the deals pages. Cappers provide free picks and analysis on a daily basis, along with their daily packages that they do have up for sale. Also, please make sure you hit the like and subscribe button before you go. You could do that here on YouTube so you don't miss any alerts or anything like that. With that said, let's get Matt up here with me. Matt, man, yesterday was a tough day for me. Two close calls, end up getting both of them losing. I had the Lakers and the Warriors in the first quarter under, and they scored like 16 points in the last 2 minutes to go over by a bucket. And then the Knicks decided to take the first half off and then play hard in the second half. So I only had the Knicks in the first half, and that was an L there. But how has your NBA playoffs been going in the recent days here?
Yeah, not bad. We're 3-2 on the week. Most of my bigger plays have hit, except for yesterday with the Golden State Warriors, unfortunately. But again, we're up 2 units on the week, 3-2. Had the Warriors last night. Unfortunately, the Lakers took that one on the road, and I do feel like I should have looked at that a little further. The one day of rest for the Golden State Warriors could have played a factor. Anthony Davis absolutely going off. I thought he would maybe have a more average game with Kevon Looney matching up with him instead of Domantas Sabonis. But, AD is really proving when he is on his game, no one in this league can guard him, and I mean no one. But really excited to talk about today's game, really excited to give a preview tomorrow as well. So, as always, ready to break it down with you, Ron.
Yeah, let's get into tonight's game right now. Sixers and the Celtics here. We have game two of the series. The Sixers stole game one. They did it without the MVP, Joel Embiid. You would think the injury replacement theory wouldn't work in the playoffs, but it sure did in game one there. Harden came through with the biggest playoff game of his career. He had 45 points. Maxey added 26. You had DeAnthony Melton was a key contributor off of the bench, and then you even had another young guy, Paul Reed, with some clutch free throws to seal the win as well. On the other side, you had Tatum. He did his job, right? He went for 39. Brown and Brogdon went for both of those guys went over the 20-point mark. They both, I think both teams really just got whatever they wanted from the offensive side of the ball, and that's the reason why the closing total they flew over the closing total. But with Embiid back, it's a totally different ball game here. I think we're going to see more defense. I think we're going to see the rotation change up a little bit especially on the Celtics side. In the regular season, the Celtics pretty much dominated the matchup, winning 3 of the 4 games. Yeah. They also covered in all 4 games, and all 4 of those games Embiid was in. It just seems like they match up the personnel that the Celtics have. They match up better against the Sixers when Embiid is on the floor. What are your thoughts on this game, Matt? Do you see anything from a betting perspective here?
Yeah, I'm 100% with you here, Ron. I think the Celtics team does match up very well against Joel Embiid. The Celtics are one of those teams that is very, very good at taking away your number one option. You look at what they've done with Giannis Antetokounmpo in the past, Joel Embiid as well. They're one of the top teams at limiting Embiid. And with Embiid in the game, I do see this being a different style matchup, a different pace matchup, things of that nature. Because in game one, we kind of called that one out pretty well, Ron. Other than the fact that the 76ers won outright. We talked about the team total there and how the 76ers were going to go over. We talked about the total in general. We talked about Tyrese Maxey. So we really did kind of hit that one on the button. Now, this game, on the other hand, because Joel Embiid is most likely going to play, and those who don't know, supposedly after Joel Embiid won the MVP award, he looked at his team and said, "I'm back." So supposedly he's going to play. They always need that little storyline to go with everything. But again, that changes everything. I think the pace of this game is going to slow tremendously. So if I were to go anywhere, I think this one I actually might go 76ers team total under. And for me, I would be
Hmm.
looking at the Boston Celtics here. I hate how big these lines are, but me and you have talked about this in the past, Ron, and this will not be an official play for me. This is going to be a game where I'm probably looking more so at totals and props, if I'm being honest. Just because we've talked about this in the past, Ron, and when a key player gets added back into that lineup after missing a couple games, it usually takes a game to get back. And now, after winning game one, this 76ers team, I don't believe is going to be in any hurry, or there's not going to be the urgency of the Boston Celtics. The Celtics are down 0-1 at home. You're going to have that urgency. Your back is against the wall. And you got two players in Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown who I fully expect to be incredibly aggressive, go out, get this done. I am with the Celtics here within 7.5. I'm really not too sure there. It's just not somewhere I'm going to look today. My best bet is obviously from this game. I have a player prop here. We'll wait to get into that one. But for me, if I were to go anywhere, it would be with Boston here. And I would actually think I'd be looking at the 76ers team total under. I think this pace is going to really slow down. James Harden, Tyrese Maxey are two guys who at times are a little inconsistent. They have highs and lows, especially with James Harden. So for me, I would look at that team total under, and I would potentially back the Celtics.
Yeah, I think I mean for the most part I agree with both of your looks there. The Sixers team total under, also look towards the Celtics there. My best bet obviously is on this one as well. But just to talk to you, maybe we can talk you into this full game here. But just a historic trend that I look at, it's been profitable to take the home favorite in game two if they lost the game one as a home favorite. And that's like throughout, I use SDQL a lot, and in throughout that database, it's been profitable since I think it's 2003. But if we look at it in more recent years, say 2018, it's 18-4 straight up, 17-5 against the spread. That same situation that the Celtics are in today. The Knicks were in that same situation yesterday. They didn't cover that closing line, but there were some some minus 5.5s available for a period of time initially before Butler was officially ruled out. So there was situations where they did cover that line. So it could have been 18-4 and 18-4 against the spread, but obviously that line went up to like 10 or something like that. And there's some weird stuff that happened at the end of the game where the Knicks probably could have covered that line, but obviously that didn't happen. Just for the most part, though, I do look towards the Celtics to really bounce back in this situation. Like I said earlier, I feel like the Celtics, from a personnel standpoint, they just match up better. Their rotation works better against someone with Embiid there. Obviously, having Embiid there is always tough, just because he's the MVP for a reason, right? He's going to make an impact, but like you said, the Celtics do a good job of taking the number one player from the opposing team not off of the court, but I mean like limit them at a certain aspect. So it makes sense from a matchup standpoint that the Celtics probably, I would say, get it done here early and often as well. Looking towards the first quarter, first half, I just feel like this is a Celtics game. They should come out with a sense of urgency to not go down 2-0. There's no way you can go down 2-0 heading into Philly against the Sixers here. So I expect the best from the Celtics here, and I think it's going to be enough. And like you mentioned too, having Embiid come back, it might mess up a little bit of the flow there. I mean, you mentioned like slowing the pace down. The thing is, I looked in game one, their pace was extremely slow still, Matt. The only issue is they were really efficient on the offensive side of the ball. They just really got whatever they wanted. They were able to make a lot of the shots as well. So even if the pace stays the same, as long as that defensive intensity is a little bit better, and they don't make 55-56% of their shots, they're gonna go under that total tonight. That's the way that I would look, is the under, right? The Sixers team total under, and towards the Celtics side, those would be the ways that I would look in this game here. Before we get into our best bets, though, we can do a quick look ahead to the Lakers and Warriors tomorrow. Lakers took game one, Matt. We were kind of talking about this a little bit before the show, but me and you, Matt, we're MMA fans, right? And what they usually say in MMA is, styles makes fights, right? And this is, I think, is an example of that, because if you watch that game, or you could even just look at the box score and not even watch the game, but game one, the Warriors shot 53 three-pointers. They attempted 53 three-pointers. The Lakers only shot 25 of them. From the free throw line, Lakers shot 29 free throws, right? And the Warriors only shot 6. Lakers in the paint, 54 points in the paint. Warriors only 28. It's a clash of
Yeah.
styles here. Obviously, the Lakers took game one. It could have been because the rest advantage or whatever it might be, but I talked about earlier in that the first game that we talked about, that long-term trend where it's been profitable to take the home favorite in game two if they lost game one as a home favorite. That's the situation the Warriors are going to be in tomorrow. I can only look in that direction, and I would actually go back to what I played yesterday as well. I talk about that first quarter under. First quarter unders throughout the playoffs. Lakers first quarter defensive rating was 92.5 before game one of the series. And the Warriors, they weren't too far behind at 99.5 defensive rating. The reason why that's impressive, though, is because they did it against the number one offensive rated team in the regular season, the Kings there. So I feel like these defenses were I would say they were going to be going under until the last 2 minutes just kind of went crazy. But I would probably go back to that bet again, Matt, with that first quarter under. If you look at how the Lakers have started in road games after the All-Star break with their new roster, their lowest scoring quarter on average was the first quarter, averaging around 27.5. And then the Warriors on the other side, we talk about how great they are at home, right? And after the All-Star break for them, they also started slow in the first quarter and then kind of take off after that. Their lowest scoring quarter in at home after the All-Star break was the first quarter as well, 27.8 points per game. So I can only go back to that bet and just take that first quarter under once again. What are your thoughts on this Lakers and Warriors game? I know you typically like to do prop bets as well with the Lakers or with the Warriors type, their fast paced game and all that stuff. But one guy
Yeah.
that I wanted to ask you about was Looney. Looney has been going crazy on the boards and
Dude.
assists. I think he's gotten like 20 plus rebounds and assists in 5 of the last 6 playoff games. And then I also noticed that in 4 of those games, he had 20 plus rebounds. From a prop perspective, he seems like a guy that we can trust on here, especially with, needing someone to stay with AD, right? What are your thoughts on this game and thoughts on some player props as well?
Yeah, I'll be honest. In game one, I completely misread this. I thought it was going to be a slower style game, kind of like you, or slower style in terms of the Warriors and the Lakers, I should say. And it was kind of a game that had fireworks early on. They came out swinging. The Lakers definitely did. And I personally thought, here's the thing. With Anthony Davis, when he is on, I truly don't believe there is anyone in the NBA that can guard him. I think he's the most influential player on the court when he's playing his style basketball throughout anyone in the NBA, just because of how good he is on offense and how good he is on defense. To me, this guy, when he's on, he's the defensive player of the year every single year. He is so influential in that paint. The things that he makes you do, the way that he is able to change the game and make you play his style of basketball, it's unbelievable. And to me, I personally thought, because the Lakers were facing the Memphis Grizzlies, and if you've watched the Memphis Grizzlies, they had injuries to Steven Adams, Brandon Clark. So you're like, okay, Anthony Davis is going to have his way in this series. But you also see how Kevon Looney has been playing for the against the Sacramento Kings, and for me, I thought they would even each other out a little bit more. I thought maybe both of them would struggle to get as many rebounds as they did because they're focused on boxing each other out and keeping them off of the rim. And that wasn't the case whatsoever. Kevon Looney had
Mm-hmm.
17 rebounds in the third quarter, and Anthony Davis was playing some of the best basketball I have ever seen him play. And here's my thing. If he continues to play that way in this series, I do not see the Golden State Warriors winning this series. And I hate even saying that because to me, LeBron James, my least favorite player all time since I was like 13, proudly to say. But you got to be honest about what's going on. And for me, this Lakers team still has a ton of value in terms of, I think, a finals future bet. Even if you don't like them, I do think they have a solid chance of making the finals. You can hedge it along the way if you would like, anything along those lines. But getting to game two, I know I'm going on a little bit of a tangent. In game two, I'm with you, Ron. I do expect the Golden State Warriors to bounce back. There are some glaring weaknesses in that box score. Free throws being one of them, like Dennis Schroeder going to the free throw line 10 times, getting 19 points. That's absurd. You cannot let that happen any day of the week, and then when you got guys like Dennis Schroeder getting 19, you got guys like D'Lo going out and getting 19. It's those role players that you need to try and prevent, because if those role players go off and get 19, LeBron and AD, they're going to put you over the edge, and you're definitely going to end up winning that game because of Anthony Davis's defense on top of that. However, in this spot, we still haven't seen Klay Thompson have one of those games. Steph Curry was a little bit off. I mean, he played solid, but it wasn't like the Steph that we're typically used to seeing. So I think there's going to be some key adjustments from Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr is one of those coaches, as we know, who is very willing to make key adjustments throughout a series. In last series with the Kings, we saw Kevon Looney come more of a distributor, getting his guys off the pick or the picks and things of that nature. So I do expect some definite coaching changes from Steve Kerr. I think Draymond needs to play a little better, a lot better, honestly. I felt like he was tentative. When I saw him in the Kings series, if he was at the 3-point line or if he had a little bit of room, he was attacking the rim and he was trying to draw fouls. He was trying to make shots. And to me, they were giving him 6 feet. And if that was the Kings series, he's taking that. And maybe it's because he's buddy-buddy with LeBron James these days. But I don't know. We need to see a more aggressive Draymond Green on both sides of the court for the Warriors to get this done. But, this is a veteran basketball team. We have seen the Golden State Warriors go against LeBron James in the past. This is a team that responds incredibly well with their backs against the wall. And, we've talked about this, Ron, that old saying, a series does not start until a home team loses. And, game one, the home team already lost. So this series is on. And the Golden State Warriors definitely need to come out and respond here. And, we talked about this with the Celtics and 76ers. When a team wins that game one, you did your job. Your job is to get one on the road, okay? And obviously you want to get 2. That's just gravy. But if you don't get that, then that's okay. You already did your job. You're going back home. You're trying to sweep at home, and then you're up 3-1. So this is a Warrior spot. I think the Warriors need to come out like their ass is on fire. We need to see some Steph Curry. We need to see some Klay Thompson because Wiggins has been very consistent. Looney has been very consistent. It's more so the Klay Thompson and the Jordan Pooles of the world that need to get it going and keep that consistency. And I think if they do, they cover this spread no problem.
Yeah, I agree with you there. The other thing too, we saw, AD play 43 minutes. We saw LeBron play 40. The other side, on the Warriors side, nobody played more than 37, if I'm not mistaken. But so we can see, I mean, like you said, I just feel like the Lakers did their job, right? They stole one on the road there. And they're probably going to come out of this game 2 a little bit lackluster, and we see the Warriors play with a sense of urgency. So a little bit of a flip-flop there. I think the Warriors get it done in game 2 as well. That makes a lot of sense to me. All right, let's get on to the best bet section, Matt. Go ahead and talk about what your best bet is for today and what you got going on over on sportsmemo.com.
Yeah, guys, over on sportsmemo.com, I have one play loaded so far. We got one game. I'm not going to jump all over it, but there are a couple spots that I do like. And, one of the player props that I really am liking tonight and today's best bet, it's actually going to be Derek White, over 15.5 points and assists. And this is a number that we've seen Derek White miss 2 games in a row, and we've seen his number come down because of it. The past 2 games, last game, he had 7 points. The last game against the Hawks, he had 4 points. But before that, he was actually one of the more consistent players on the Boston Celtics. He actually hit this number in 6 of his last 7 matchups. And when you take a look at this Philadelphia 76ers team, the way to attack them is generally through that guard position. If you know James Harden is not the best defender in the world. If you watch Tyrese Maxey is a very similar story. Not the best defender in the world. And I think Derek White is in a good position to attack. We saw last game with Jason Tatum. I believe he had 39 points, something along those lines. And, anytime you have a 39-point outing, you're going to get a ton of attention. And Jason Tatum already draws a ton of attention. Same thing with Jaylen Brown. So with those 2 guys getting all that attention, I think Derek White is going to be one of those guys hanging out in the corner. He is a great knockdown corner 3 type player. And another thing with Derek White that I do enjoy, and this is one of the reasons I went points plus assists, is he's such a great defender and he's very good in transition. If he's able to create any turnovers, we talked about the inconsistencies with James Harden, with Tyrese Maxey, when they have that huge game where they absolutely go off, more often than not, you kind of come back down to earth the following game, and there might be a couple turnovers to go with it. And with those turnovers, Derek White is going to be the guy guarding them. So I think he could potentially get a couple steals, get a couple outlet passes to maybe Jason Tatum, maybe Jaylen Brown, whatever it may be, and it gets him going a little bit more. And he hasn't had 10 shots the past two games, I should say. And before that, the 6 or 7 games leading up to that, he had 10 shots in each. So I think if he gets back to that 10-point number, he's also a facilitator. I think he goes over this 15.5-point line pretty easy tonight. And one last thing is, in those 6 of 7 matchups, he went over 20 points in 2 of them. So this is a guy that can go out and get 16 points all on his own. The Boston Celtics are a team that is somewhat guard heavy with Smart, White, and Brogdon. So they do somewhat go with the hot hand too, but it's been shown with Derek White, even if he's a little off, he's still getting 30 minutes because of his defense. So I do think this is a fairly safe play. I think the volume is going to be there, and I really do enjoy Derek White over 15.5 points plus assists tonight.
That makes a lot of sense. I think if the Celtics are going to win tonight, he's going to be a big part of that. He's also, like you said, versatile, so he should get a lot of minutes there. For me, I'm going to the game, to the first half of this game here. The Celtics in the first half, it is -5, so it has moved. It is pretty juiced there. With the full game at 7.5, you would think that the line here should be around like 4 maybe. But at 5, I think it's kind of telling us a little story here that the Celtics should come out with a sense of urgency to start this game off here. And I talked about that long-term trend perspective. When it's profitable to take that home favorite in game 2 of a series, if they lost game 1 as a home favorite. In that trend specifically, majority of the damage is done in that first half. I think it goes with the whole narrative of them coming out with a strong sense of urgency there and making sure that they don't lose game 2 and go down 0-2 on the road there. So that would be my best bet for today. Celtics first half -5. I think they get it done there. I think they get it done on the full game as well, if I'm being honest. So that's the way that I would go for my best bet. Over at wagertalk.com, I got 2 MLB plays. I do have 2. Actually, I have three plays on this game that I really, really like that I have over at wagertalk.com as well. That one is definitely one of them. Actually, that one and the full game, I'm not going to lie. That's what I got over at wagertalk.com. So make sure you guys head over there for my work over there, and at sportsmemo.com for Moneyline Matt. With that said, guys, our next show will be on Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard on the same channel. We're going to have myself, Moneyline Matt, and Tony Finn. Till then, good luck with all your action. Peace.
Peace.